Hello, everybody. My name is Gilda Ross. I'm the Glenbard Student and Community Projects Coordinator. So glad that you could join us. This is a little unusual for our Live Life Well We keynote. We have never done a noon, but I'm looking forward to a little bit of a more informal conversation. I'm really glad that you're here. So without further ado, I have the honor of introducing Javier. Javier Sanchez, for more than a decade, has traveled the world entertaining, educating, and equipping youth and adults with the information and inspiration to reach excellence and in their attitudes, character, and health. Yesterday, Javier spoke to our students, and it's a special honor to have him here talking to the caregivers. Please help me welcome author, performer, speaker, Javier Sanchez. Javier, take it away.
Thank you, Gilda. I'm so excited about being here and having the chance to spend a little bit of time with you all. And we have a few minutes here at the end. I don't know everything about being a parent or being an adult that works with young people. I've done it for over 20 years. I do know some things. And so if you have a question about anything, now would be the time to ask or share.
So many good takeaways today. Thank you so much. It definitely starts with us. I wanted to ask you, you talked about, when you and I spoke, about the research that you were doing, listening to students. What came out of that research that you, on your listening tour after talking to young people?
Yeah, so the main thing that came out of it was no matter what end of the spectrum young people's lived experiences, every young person is going through something, right? And another thing that came out was so many of those young people feel like, even though everybody's going through something, so many young people still feel like they're the only ones, right? That they're the only ones going through something. And that's, again, goes back to that lack of connection to others, right? I couldn't, that really struck a chord with me that, we get in a room and young people felt like they were the only ones that were struggling. And again, that adds to the sense of hopelessness. And so again, the more digitally connected we become, the more emotionally disconnected we are. And so I think we have to make sure we create, because our digital lives are not going to go away. It's not going to change, right? It's only going to amplify, if anything. And so we just have to be sure that we are intentionally balancing, and we have to remember that our young people, we as adults are digital immigrants. They're digital natives.
Yeah.
That's the world they were born into.
Yeah.
It's the world we immigrated into. And some of us still haven't immigrated into, even though it's here, right? And so, we just have to be mindful of that and recognize that while it's not going away, we have to balance it with real authentic connection as well.
How can I best help my child find a mentor, that non-judgmental, caring adult? What advice do you have?
The advice that I would give to parents in helping their young people find a mentor would be to start in the village that's closest to them or that they have easiest access to would be their school, right? So are asking them, are there any teachers or counselors? Do you have any, meet them where they're at? Who's the teacher that is easiest to talk to? Do you have a teacher, or who's the adult in your building that you find easiest to talk to, right? Not that adult is necessarily going to be their mentor, but that adult may be able to connect them to another non-parental caring adult, right? So this is what I did. Found out who, and I didn't ask my son in particular who the adult in his school was easiest to talk to. I would just listen to him when we just have regular conversations, and listen to him talk about his coaches, listen to him talk about his teachers, and I kind of got a sense of who that adult was. Then I did the outreach. Hey, my son's really has a lot of respect for you. And so whatever you're doing, I want to thank you for that. And can you look out for him? Can you check in on him? It would mean a lot to me if you looked out for him, if you did a check-in with him, and helped him get connected or stay connected to some other cool adults that you think would be of value to him. So that's how I did it. Again, it's not a one size fits all, but I started with where we were at, which was his school, and listening to him, and kind of assessing who the adults were that he actually already had a level of respect for. And then I did the outreach and kind of backdoored it. Does that make sense?
You talk a lot about role modeling. Just say it one more time, if you don't mind.
Okay. Here's one thing that is important as parents, as adults who are engaged in the life of young people. You gotta live it to give it. Young people do not care what you say; they care what you do. They're not paying attention to what they're not paying attention to what you say as much as they're paying attention to what you do. And so, like an example, like when my kids were little, and they'd be running around the house, screaming and hollering. What is our natural, reaction is to, yell at them, stop yelling or stop screaming. I'm screaming at them to stop screaming. You know what I mean? And so they're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. They don't care what we say. They care what we do. And so, that's why I say it's important for, not only for us to help our young people connect to their somewhere, somehow, something, and someone, but we as adults, we as parents need to do our own internal audit. What is my somewhere? What are my hopes, goals, and aspirations? What is my plan? What is my significant connection? What is my, and who am I connected to? What is my community of care? Living it how we give it.
Someone is asking about how they can connect with you.
I'll put my email address right here in the chat. I'm putting it in right now. And so there you go. That's my email address. And feel free, by all means. We're going to send out this is the PowerPoint in the form of a PDF. And I also have another supplemental resource that I'll be attaching with it, that is a worksheet or a handout that helps young people identify those 4 things: somewhere, somehow, something, and someone.
The 3 C's, I want to be sure that we get this.
Absolutely.
The competence, connection, contribution.
Yep.
You just reminded me, one of my favorite expressions used to be, kids hear 1% of everything we say and 100% of everything we do.
I love that. And I'm going to be sharing that. I'll quote you on that.
Okay. I got one more. I love this one too. Somebody once said, we have to be real with them because they can smell inauthenticity like a junkyard dog. I mean, they know it. They know it. So they're always watching, aren't they? And Absolutely. It's hard. It's hard. We have to get our own, as you've said, and so many others have said, recently one of our speakers talked about, it's our job to collect their emotional trash. And how can we do that if we don't have someone that we can unload so that we can be there?
Right.
100% as much as possible. Such a challenge in this time.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, you've got 2 questions here, a couple of questions from our students, Javier. Let's see. Elisa, you are up next.
Hi, I'm Elisa, and I'm a senior at Glenbard West. Hearing you was great. I totally agree with everything you said. And this is my question. At this challenging time, I know my friends would appreciate some suggestions on the best way to talk to parents. What is some advice to improve that relationship?
How young people can talk to parents. one of the things that I would think help, and let me preface this with, what the heck do I know about how young people should, no, I know a couple of things. But here's one of the things that has helped me and my kids. And I am by far not a perfect parent, and my kids aren't perfect kids either. But here's one of the things that helps is I asked my kids for my birthday and Christmas. All I asked for is a letter. I asked for them to write me a letter. I was like, you don't gotta buy me nothing. Just write me a letter. And in the letter, just put what you want from me as your dad this year. What you want from me, not, and they know what I'm saying when I say what you want from me. I'm not saying I want a car, I want, some new Jordans. They know what, as a person, what they want and hope for me, that they get from me. And I get that letter for my birthday, and then I get it my birthday's in September. I get that letter again at Christmas and on Father's Day. Actually, I get it 3 times a year. I get a letter from my kids, and they ask me, or they tell me in the letter what they want from me. And again, not material stuff, want from me as a dad. And so that's just a line of community. That's a trick that we came up with that happens to work for us. But I think, I would say, if young people, so you tell your friends, or Alicia, you can do this, I would encourage you to write down your thoughts and feelings that you would like to share with your parents. Write them on a piece of paper, because it controls the conversation, or it can kind of keep the conversation on track. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're coming up with thoughts and ideas just out of your head, it can go anywhere at any time. But if you write down, some bullet points or a list or even a letter, number one, I think they'll be impressed, and their respect for the effort that you're making goes up. And number two, it keeps the conversation. It can keep the conversation on track. Again, not knowing what the heck I'm talking about. That's not gospel. That is a suggestion. But it happens to have worked for me and my kids in terms of the letter that they write me 3 times a year. So I hope that was sort of helpful.
Yeah, that's great. I never thought about it.
Okay, well, cool. Whew.
Great. Maria, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Maria, and I'm also a senior at Glenbard West. I really enjoyed your video yesterday, and I think that what you said is something that is really beneficial for young people. And I know some students are struggling with how we can stay positive these days. So my question is, what are some strategies that can help maintain a positive attitude?
Okay, thank you, Maria, for that. You already heard the gratitude list. You know that one. So that would be one thing. What I would say is another thing. Well, I'm going to default to that. Connection keeps us positive. So not isolating ourselves. As much as we can, or as best we can, be connected with your friends in real spaces, right? And spend real time together in real spaces, not just on Snap or IG. There are physical health benefits to being physically connected to others. There are mental health benefits to being physically connected to others. And then, having a gratitude list, I think is important. It worked so well for me. But also having that plan for what we're going to do, what we can do when life goes different than what we expected, like planning for struggles and how we respond to struggles, I think is so important. Like, again, going back to the PASS, those safe people, places, and things like that. The seeking safety is how you maintain a positive attitude. So safety is, getting around your friends, the place that you, and again, writing down, okay, what is my plan? Who are the place? Where am I going to go when I'm feeling down, when I'm struggling? That place might be a house of worship. That place could be a pond by your house, where you kind of just go there and kind of chill out. That place could be your bedroom. Whatever that place is, identify that place, and then that thing that you do. So for me, for example, when I'm stressed, when things are frustrating me, one of the places I go to and one of the things I do is I go to my backyard and I build a fire, right? So the place I go is my backyard because we have a fire pit, right? The thing I do is build a fire, because even just cutting up the wood and lighting the fire and lighting the kindling and seeing the fire burn and stoking it and adding more wood to the fire, that thing that I'm doing, it's very, very therapeutic for me. The flames flickering and the heat coming off, all of that is very therapeutic for me and helps me calm down, right? And so having a place to go and having a thing to do. So I know when I'm stressed, there's no, I already know what's going to happen when I have a bad day. I tell my family, you know where to find me. I'm at the fireplace. I'm at the fire pit. They know where to find me, and it calms me down. Does it make the problem go away? Absolutely not. But it calms me down so that I can be more clear in how I'm going to resolve the problem or navigate, the struggle that I'm going through. So identify that, people we connect with, places we go, and things we do. Does that make sense? I hope that was helpful. But I mean, planning is so important, and we just don't plan for catastrophe. We don't plan for crisis. Like I happen to believe we don't plan for crisis like we should.
Thank you for.
Go ahead, Maria.
Sorry, thank you for answering my question.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking.
Elisa, did he just answer the question you mentioned? Go ahead.
Yes, I was going to say that I had another question, which was how I can help some friends that might been sad or depressed. How can I help them? But I think you just answered it. Or if you want to add anything, you can.
Yeah, no, I mean the pass, remember this too shall pass, that formula I think works great. That's a great tool. And again, I'm going to send you some tools that one of the things that you're going to get is what's called a respond ability worksheet. And because again, it's not what happens to us, it's how we respond to what happens to us that matters most. And that respondability worksheet will help you create a plan for how you respond to crisis, how we respond to stress, how we respond to when we feel lonely or angry or afraid, which we are absolutely allowed to feel those things. And that's the problem a lot of times is young people who feel stressed, who feel lonely, who feel angry, who feel ugly, who feel stupid, they feel like that makes them abnormal. Right? It doesn't make you abnormal to feel those things. It makes you super normal, right? Because we're all going through those struggles. And so it's how we respond to those struggles that matter most. You're going to get a resource to help you and help your friends.
Javier, you're reminding me of something that Lisa DeMoore said when she came recently. She said that good mental health is feeling the right emotion at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're in this time of challenge and crisis and we're sad sometimes, that would be a perfectly normal emotion. We want to be aware of when is the time to ask for help because help is available and there shouldn't be any stigma about it. I have such good notes here. Kids who thrive have goals somewhere, strategies somehow, purpose, something, a non-parent, non-judgmental, caring adult, someone. Emotions are good servants, but poor masters. To prevent a crisis becoming a catastrophe, remember, this too shall pass. Love it. When what we repeat, we concrete. Instill gratitude, keep your journal, seek connection with friends in real spaces, wake up thankful, spend the day hopeful, go to bed grateful. Your past doesn't disqualify your future. Keep looking ahead. The windshield is bigger than the rear view mirror. if we do that, we'll all be in great shape.
Yoda, you get an A++ on the test.
I worked on this all day, so I appreciate that. Students, thank you so much. Participants who are listening in, so grateful for your time. It was just a pleasure spending this time with everyone. So what we all say, always end by saying, go hug your kids, right?
Nice. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure. Be safe, everybody. Take care. See you next time.